Hey everyone, LiveLock here with another video about the Dragonflight talents for Enhance. I put out a longer video with just initial impressions where I hadn't seen anything, and I thought about it a little bit more. I looked at some of the chatter going on the Enhance Discord as well as the forums, and I played with the talents a bit, and I want to share a couple of things. One thing I want to share is the build I'm actually most excited about, which I didn't see this build in my first take, but I was playing around a bit more and I stumbled upon it. It's very different than the current build. And my second high level thought is the state of our current Primal Lava Actuators build going into Dragonflight. I think people are on average excited about it, although I think it will be unexciting for people that play Enhance today until I get a chance to actually like play with it, hands on. But first things first, let's go over the build that I actually do care about. It's a strange build. One of the things I like about Primal Lava Actuators a lot is that we get to do this like funnel niche, but the funnel niche is going to be less impactful without the lashing flames, the lashing flames and the conduit that we have for our lava lash. We have this big crit chance conduit right now for lava lash, so maybe they tune lava lash to work around that deficiency, and then it ends up being just as good funnel as it is right now. That's possible. I admit that. But for the time being, I just want to explore this other build. I don't know if they kind of like intended for this build to be like viable or not, but the idea is it's a Primal Lava Actuators build that we currently have today, except it's Stormstrike focused, with a bit of an added perk in that it's very well rounded. So you start off with a Stormstrike because you have to. You go into Wind Free Weapon because basically now you're going to be doing everything Stormstrike oriented. So Wind Free Weapon, I think you actually have to the bottom tree here. If you're not going to go a Lava Lash build, the talents kind of force you into basically only doing one thing, which is getting everything except for Lava Lash until you have nothing left to do, and then you have to get Lava Lash anyway. So improved Maelstrom Weapon, definitely going to get that. Raging Maelstrom, so you can have more Maelstrom stacks. That's like mandatory for any build. Forceful Winds, more Wind Fury damage, and then Unruly Winds is the same thing basically. Now we have 7 points. We can't progress yet, so we go into either Lava Lash or Feral Lunge, and I like Feral Lunge as like a rule, but it's not a huge deal. Maybe for now. Oh, actually, no, you do have to get Feral Lunge. My bad. Then you have to get Lava Lash as well because there's literally nothing else you can do. That's fine. We go into the next tier. We have Lava Lash, even though it's not a Lava Lash build. The core of the AOE, your normal rotational AOE, is going to come from the Frost Shock playstyle with Hailstorm, which is like a viable build, today as well. With not with PLA. Usually you go Fire Nova with PLA, but I like this playstyle as well, so I don't have any problems with doing this. Going into Ice Strike mostly because I want the Maelstrom generation from it. It's not a huge deal, but we do end up down here as well on the bottom there. And it does have this does a reset, right? Let's see. Strike your target with Icy Blade, dealing frost damage and snaring them by 50%. Ice Strike increases next time to Frost Shock. Okay, yeah. So Frost Shock is going to be like the bulk of your AoE damage. So this isn't that bad to have like in your rotation as an ability. But Storm Flurry, another Storm Strike buff over here. We're going to pick that up. We're going to pick up Doom Winds as well. So this is going to be able to give us nothing like Doom Winds today. I mean, Doom Winds today is kind of bad. And this is worse than that. But now it's not like the main star of the show anymore. It's just like a supporting actor. So it's not a huge deal to not have it be like the main source of your AoE with like, uncapped AoE through Crash Lightning spam, which is what we do currently. But it's going to stack really well with Ascendance at the bottom. Like every Ascendance, you'll pop Doom Winds as well, and then you'll have like benefits to your Stormstrike damage. We are going to get Stormbringer for Stormstrike resets, and we're going to get improved Stormbringer for more Stormstrike damage, obviously. I don't think Elemental Blast is the play. I should also give the caveat that this is exclusively about Mythic Plus, so it's not like, but whereas today, like, we have all of these abilities. We could spec them in Mythic Plus, but we would end up being like really single target or really AoE only. Like this is gonna be more of a well-rounded build, but not raid, so not like exclusively single target. So I'm not gonna get this ability, Elemental Blast. I'm also not gonna get Sundering, and I don't want to get Wind Fury Totem. That might be controversial. We'll come back to that later. For the choice node over here, we're going to go with whichever one of these is like better statistically after the sims come out. There's a lot of questions here around Overflowing Maelstrom. Like, does it work with Frost Shock? Like, can I consume 10 Maelstrom stacks to do 10 Frost Shocks? Like, that's up in the air. I assume no, because the tooltip on Frost Shock or on whatever that ability is that makes Frost Shock does that thing. But whatever ends up being, like one of these will be better. You pick that one. Crash Lightning, definitely important in this build. And going into Chain Lightning, rank 2, which makes your Crash Lightning cooldown go a bit faster after you use Chain Lightning. That's important because of Gathering Storms, which has been reworked. I think we actually have Gathering Storms over... Oh, it's Crashing Storms. Okay. So I'm not sure if this existed yet, but this looks like a pretty cool ability, and it's part of why I'm excited about this build. The Gathering Storms talent will basically give us funnel on our Storm Strikes. So you'll hit Crash Lightning, then your Storm Strike will do 5% times the number of mobs. So on like a really large pull, if there's a large person that you have, I mean, this is always good news for like pulling dumb trash onto bosses. Like that'll be great for boss funnel. But I mean, it'll be like a 30% more damage on your next Storm Strike after a Crash Lightning on like a 5 or 6 pack pull, which is probably comparable to how much Lava Lash is getting buffed if you're in like a hot hands window. I don't think it'll be quite the same as that, but it is at least some funnel. Now, as for the bottom, I think that was the last point that we needed for the bottom. So we're not going to go hot hand. We don't really care about Lava Lash in this build. We're going to go Ascendance, and I think if you're going to go Ascendance, like you basically have to go down this path because Thorim's Invocation seems like it's really, really good with Ascendance. Like I can't imagine, like maybe there are some builds where it's not a huge deal, but it's just so strong to be constantly dumping all of your lightning damage into, like, without having to invest GCDs into it. And that paired with Legacy of the Frost Witch will give you basically Stormstrike spam during your sorry, the people are talking in the game. Stormstrike spam during your Ascendance window. And that seems like with this Stormstrike centric build, every 3 minutes you'll be able to do pretty good boss damage. So every boss you'll be doing pretty good burst boss damage, at least for the start, for the first 15 seconds. You'll be stacking Ascendance with Doom Winds for bosses, and then you'll be popping Doom Winds roughly every other pack to do like our normal Crash Lightning spam on them. With low haste, this may not be a significant source of damage, so I still think that the Frost the Frost Shock damage that you get will be a lot more beneficial here from Hailstorm. Like I think the top damage overall of any ability for this build will probably be Frost Shock, if you do it in a Mythic Plus run. But this is definitely a contributor. So not to say it's like useless by any means, but it probably will be more effective in buffing Ascendance than it is in buffing your AoE. And then going down here, picking up Feral Spirits with Elemental Assault, which will give us, actually, I don't know if we can get that yet. Let me just invest the rest of the points into the bottom here and pick Alpha Wolf. So we have, so we can't get Elemental Assault and Legacy of the Frost Witch. So I don't know which one will be better, but whichever one is better, that's the one that you'll get with this build. No Primordial Wave. Very Stormstrike oriented. It has a little bit of everything for Mythic Plus. It has a little bit of uncapped AoE. It has a little bit of big single target burst AoE. Big single target burst cooldowns with Ascendance into Thorim's Invocation as well as Doom Winds. And depending on how good Alpha Wolf is, I guess if Alpha Wolf ends up being really bad, which I think it can't be because they took away other things like Lashing Flames for AoE damage, so I feel like they have to make this at least comparable to replace Lashing Flames. But But like elemental spirits is like what we have now, just like reduced cooldown. So we have witch doctors already, so we're gonna have a lot more dogs. You probably get dogs every pack or every other pack. Like maybe it might be like a little over a minute cooldown if you take Alpha Wolf. I'm not sure. So it might be every other pack. So you won't have like the same rotation every pack, or you won't be able to do the same cooldowns every pack. But I still think this is really interesting. Like I wanted a Frost Shock build to be viable, and well, not just viable, but best in the current pack because it's kind of satisfying to press, and it has like this fun feedback loop with like it generates Maelstrom and it benefits from you spending Maelstrom. So I like that a lot about it. And then there are a couple of synergies that you can get in the general tree. It like which is kind of weird. Like maybe they shouldn't be doing this. Like I'm gonna get Flurry, obviously. I'm gonna get I don't. I wish Lava Burst wouldn't be here because I don't want to have to press Lava Burst. But like I mean I'm not gonna pick it over Chain Heal. I picked Chain Heal in the other video because I assumed this was like something that we wouldn't actually press, but if it's good damage, I guess we will press it. It doesn't have any interactions with Maelstrom. Maybe it does in Alpha. I'm not sure. I have to I don't know what the deal is with the Lava Burst. I hope they don't make it so that we take that because we have so many buttons anyway. But going down here, these are things I would get from the general tree. There's a couple of things that buff damage here. There's like buffs nature damage, buffs lightning bolt damage. I think by default I would probably get capacitor totem, and then maybe static charge. It kind of depends on the scenario. I won't get tremor totem by default, but I mean maybe you do need it sometimes. I'm not gonna get this weird thing by default because I think we probably won't be casting a lot of flame shock in this build. Like maybe we'll keep it up in single target as a filler spell, but it's not a huge deal in this build. We will get this eventually, but I don't think we have to get it quite yet. What am I missing here? Oh yeah, Frost Shock. Duh. Like I can get all these Frost talents and not get Frost Shock. Like that's kind of nuts. That's very strange. I'm not gonna get Hex by default, but maybe depending on the circumstances, you'll pick it up. I'm pretty excited about Earth Grab Totem. I just think it's like really cool to have utility, and we have a ton of utility in here. I'm not going to get Purge by default because some dungeons may not have a Purge, so it's just here if we want it. And then going down, Nature's Guardian, Improve Lightning Bolt, which is damage, which is weird to me that it's over here. I feel like there shouldn't be that many damage things, but there aren't that many, so maybe it's okay. Over here, we have the Improved Critical Strike Chance on Nature spells, which should cover our heals as well as our lightning spells, I think. I think I'm going to prefer the Ankh spell as well. This will be nice for Mythic Plus when it's actually difficult. Maybe I won't take this, when we're doing like 15s because we're all geared. But grabbing the benefit to movement speed and then probably Spirit Walk by default, unless there's like some fight where, or some dungeon where like, bursting forward is useful. But I don't see us getting totemic projection. We don't have a lot of totems to worry about, and I didn't even get Wind Fury totem, or so that was the one thing I would have, I guess, used this on. But I guess I could move like my Earth Grab totem around. I don't know. That's a weird one for me. But I have to come back up here, so probably get Earth Ellie to unlock the next phase, and then I'm excited about Thunderstorm into Thunder Shock. Sometimes you might want Lightning Lasso. I guess it just depends. Totemic Focus is okay. I'll get it just because I want to go down here. And there aren't really other like amazing things to me. So at this point, it's like a really flex options. I will probably always get Stone Skin Totem, and whether or not, so I have like 6 points left that I consider pretty flexible at this point. Like maybe I'll just put them in Surging Shields by default and then grab Earth Shield and Elemental Orbit. That gives me 2 points left still to flex with. Leech and Avoidance is just like more stats. Whichever ones take stats. Yeah, so here, maybe not that one by default, and maybe I'll just max out the reduced damage one. I mean, 3% reduced damage isn't like that much for Mythic Plus. This might be like more valuable in certain raid encounters and progression and PvP. So, like I can live without the 3% damage reduction, I think. But yeah, maybe like why is it not updating? So it must go to like 3% or sorry, 6%. The UI tooltip must be broken. So it probably goes from 3 to 6, but maybe just 3 and then go into elemental orbit so I can just, use more earth shields. I don't know. It's really flexible. Not that important to me. Like, it's just based on the situation. The important parts as far as the build goes is improved lightning bolts, improved fire and frost damage, and improved lightning bolt crit chance, and spell crit chance. I think those things will complement this nicely. Very small benefits. Well, I mean, actually, the lightning bolt one is pretty big because your main spender will be lightning bolt when you're over in this build, unless lava burst ends up being a maelstrom consumer as well. But it doesn't say anything about that over here. Maybe I don't know what's going on, but either way, like we'll be doing a lot of lightning bolts, and maybe with this talent, it'll be more damage than lava burst. Who knows? I'm not sure, but the core of the playstyle is just going to be focused around the crash lightning. So crash lightning into chain lightning into Stormstrike. So right now, with my current level of haste, I can do crash, spender, Stormstrike. Then I can do crash. There. Oops, I did the wrong spender. But I can do crash lightning about every third or fourth ability. Yeah, so every fourth ability. So crash, chain, Stormstrike, hail, crash, and so on. So that means every other Stormstrike at most will be funnel improved. Will be improved by 30% because of crash lightning. So we do have some funnel here. We do have big AoE through this bottom right side of the tree. We have a lot of this will hopefully be. I don't know how Alpha Wolf will be tuned. We'll see how it's tuned. I think it'll end up being like pretty bursty AoE whenever the dogs are out, which will be every other pack. And then we have Doom Winds to stack with Ascendants. And Alpha Wolf also wants us to keep on doing Crash Lightning, right? While Crash Lightning causes, yeah. Which is kind of weird because, like, it's one of those things where you can not take Crash Lightning and then, like, the tree doesn't make you, like, generate a coherent build. But, I mean, you'll do it anyway because, like, it's dumb not to, obviously. But yeah, Crash Lightning being core to Alpha Wolf, you'll trivially keep up the Alpha Wolf buff when you have your dogs out. So, that's like, maybe we have Ascendants not really doing anything for Crash Lightning, doesn't synergize that well with it, but we just have like a tool for various scenarios. And like the bread and butter for AoE will be Hailstorm. So I don't know. I think that this is actually a pretty cool build. I want to try it out. I wish I had alpha access to see if it's any good. I wish we knew what the final tuning numbers would be to see if it's actually worth, doing. I think Doom Winds needs a little bit of a buff. Well, I mean, obviously, like, I can't say that without any data to back that up. So it just strikes me as having been a little aggressively nerfed to become like a whatever this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5th tier ability. Like 8 seconds is not that long. It's like, probably less than 8 abilities on average. So it'll probably be really strong during Bloodlust, because during Bloodlust you can do Crash Lightning every other ability, but I mean, it's still like at most 4 Crash Lightnings, right? And if I had Sundering, it would be 5 AoE abilities at proc Wind Fury. So it's just not a lot of damage. With CDR, with a rogue in the party, making it like, I don't know, a 40-second cooldown or so, that would be pretty great, because then at least you can use it on every single pack. Then every single pack, you might be getting things like Feral Spirits and Doom Winds on every pack, and then you have like a pretty good AoE story. And then of course you're always doing like decent AoE with Hailstorm up to 6 targets, which is the other problem. I really wish they would just uncap Flame Shock. So okay, so that was the first part of what I wanted to talk about, and the second part is our current PLA going into Dragonflight. So going back to the PLA build, even though I'm not really going to do anything with my character. I saw people being pretty excited about PLA. I'm willing So okay, my reservation with PLA going forward is that we are losing a couple of things like the crit chance conduit, the primordial wave resets. I think the primordial wave reset is a big deal, but like all of these things could be just compensated for in tuning for the new abilities. So I can't say that it won't be as much damage, obviously. But what I can say is that Primordial Wave Reset is fun when it happens, although it is RNG. So maybe they are just trying to rein in the RNG a little bit. Having really big lava lashes that are critting all the time, basically. Like my lava lash crit chance is 50-50 in retail right now, and I think that's really fun. And having that not be true going forward makes PLA less fun to me. And the big source of fun for me in PLA is having a ton of haste through Primordial Wave and then getting a reset so I have a ton of haste like all the time. Like that part is really, really fun. Now, we won't be getting that much haste anymore. I think it's down to like 6% if I recall. Blaster targets. Oh, it's through a different ability, right? Splitted elements, yeah. So 6%. So it's 4% less. That's a pretty big deal. I'm not crazy about that. I think the build will be fine, but I don't think it'll feel as good for people that are used to the current PLA. I think for new shaman players, they won't mind that at all because they don't know what they were missing like in the other build. So it's not a huge deal for them. But I'm willing to be proven wrong, of course. But this is just my gut right now. I haven't thought at all about like single target lava lash builds. I haven't thought at all about like primal primer. I don't care about single target builds because I do Mythic Plus exclusively, so it's just like not a thing that I concern myself with. But the tab target playstyle is gone from the current PLA, so the skill expression ceiling is a bit lower. I'm not a huge fan of that. In terms of this current build, I feel like it's got a mix of all the playstyles that I like in PLA. You know, it doesn't have Primordial Wave, but we can't get that back anyway, so it's gone forever. I mean, it's gone forever in its current form. Maybe they do some updates on this tree. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this build. I know that no one can actually test anything, and I know all the numbers will change, and numbers and tuning mean a lot because they can turn your best build in season 2 of Doomwinds into like your worst build in season 3, right? Just by a couple of changes, buffs to other abilities completely change everything. So it's really just for fun that we're speculating right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I know there's a lot of theory crafting, feely crafting going around. So I'm anxious to see like where this all goes in the future. Yeah, see you later.